Shall Earth No More Inspire Thee by Emily Bronte. Nowadays, Emily Bronte is more well known as the author of the novel Wuthering Heights, but most of her written work was in fact poetic. She came from an interesting and gifted family. Both her sisters, Anne and Charlotte, are celebrated writers as well, whose works are studied in schools and universities across the globe. They also had a brother, Branwell, who was a talented artist and translator, but had mental health issues. The portraits on screen were created by him, and he's the ghostly figure in the left-hand picture half painted out. We don't know why. The Bronte siblings had a close bond, and it's possible that Shall Earth No More Inspire Thee is Emily's attempt to comfort and help her struggling brother. In one way, the poem is clear and straightforward. The speaker, who appears to assume the persona of nature, pleads with an unknown person who seems to be depressed to return to them so they can care and ease their worries. The idea of nature as a consoling, healing force which can help alleviate the stresses and strains of everyday living is an old one, and one which is still familiar to us today. The terms Bronte uses to describe the subject of the poem in the first three stanzas heavily imply that they are at best sorrowful and restless, and at worst in a deep depression. The phrase lonely dreamer conveys the person's mental solitude, while also perhaps expressing their tendency to get lost in their own thoughts. The adjective roving conveys their mental state, suggesting that their mind is in a constant state of worry or anxiety. Wayward will suggests a lack of self-control and unpredictability, an interpretation reinforced later in the sixth stanza when we are told that the subject has a heart which can so widely pine. However, the speaker goes on to remind the subject in the sixth stanza that they are a unique find in humankind, since they have a heart so rarely given. Furthermore, their wanting to find peace and reconciliation on earth rather than in heaven serves as another reminder of their rare qualities. In contrast, the speaker, or perhaps more accurately nature, is presented by Bronte as beautiful and powerful. It is a source of inspiration and wonder, as well as being worthy of praise and worship. The speaker's firm knowledge of the pleasing effect of mountain breezes, sunshine, winds, and summer sky to enchant, soothe, please, caress, and drive griefs away, echoes the actions of a worried parent caring for their child, or perhaps a concerned friend offering comfort and friendship in dark times, or maybe a sister anxious about their unhappy brother. Yet this power is conveyed without arrogance, but with a confidence that seeks to be encouraging and calming. Throughout the poem, Bronte personifies nature, and in the fifth stanza it is depicted as an all-seeing, all-knowing force with the ability to bring a person back to their true self. The repetition of the phrase "I know" reassures the subject that while they are lacking certainty and confidence in their own mind and being, nature is there for them. The speaker's claim to have watched thee every hour is a nod to an almost divine, omnipotent quality to natural forces. A conclusion further supported by how the subject worships a sunset in fond idolatry. Equally, all this could be Bronte reminding her brother of their close sibling bond and how she can help him because she knows him so well. In the final stanza, the speaker simply asks to be a comrade to the subject, that is to say, a friend and companion. Notice also how the poem ends with a near repeat of line 8, "Return and dwell with me." Once again, these final lines serve to remind the subject that no one besides the speaker knows them better or is in a better position to help them overcome their sadness and grief. Sadly, Branwell Bronte continued to slip further into depression and died an alcoholic and opium addict at the age of just 31. In fact, none of the Bronte siblings lived to see their 40th birthdays. The power and influence of nature is central to a number of poems in the Worlds and Lives collection, such as lines written in early spring, like an heiress, with Birds You're Never Lonely, and A Portable Paradise. Despite their urban settings, the necessity of the natural world is also implied in A Wider View and in A London Drawing Room.